Hello there, I'm Silent Apollo, and welcome to episode 4 of Factorio Space Age, all achievements, no brains. I realised I've now uploaded almost 90 minutes of footage that I am nowhere near getting on track, so I figured I'll spend a bit more time preparing. In this one, I struggle to think and speak as I try to figure out what research I'll need to beat the game in 40 hours. I spent way too long on this, so it's in 2 parts. If you like this video, leave a like. If you want more videos, subscribe, and if not, well, I'm happy you're here anyway. The Biolab, let's actually bring it up on the Factoriopedia by alt-clicking the icon. You see it actually drains 50% of the science packs it needs to do the research. Plus, it's got 4 module slots. Honestly, I'm not talking well today. Plus, it's got 4 module slots, which means we can put 4 productivity modules in, which will boost our research per resource quite significantly as well, which is why I want this. It's genuinely so broken. So you see how this piece of research actually takes 1,000 science packs, well, one of each of these 1,000 times, and it takes 60 seconds to do. This Biolab research, which you can't actually do with that one, but regardless, would only take 500 if you just used the labs, but it would actually only take, like, I don't know, I haven't done the maths, but probably like 350 if you add all the productivity modules as well. So instead of taking 1,000 science to research this, it would only take 350 if you use biolabs with productivity modules in it. So, you know, any science we do after having biolabs will be so much more efficient, which should save us a bit of a headache trying to expand beyond our actual capabilities. So I can factor that into my calculations when I determine how much I need to actually produce from each planet, which is important because we want to save as much time as we can. Anyway, back to this. And time spent not building resources is time spent getting to the end of the game. So, you know, it's good either way. But obviously we need to get the balance right, otherwise we don't have enough science packs to actually launch to a rocket, and we can't launch rockets, and that's definitely going to be a problem. Okay. So what I really want to do in this video, because we already know we have to visit all the planets to win the game, is determine what I need as a minimum from each planet. So if we go to Aquilo, what that unlocks for us is the cryogenic plant, which I'm only going to build on Aquilo until probably late, and maybe never anywhere else anyway. It gives us quantum processors. We can put beta spawners wherever we want with that technology. Again, all of those are nice to haves and completely useless. Rocket part productivity 1. How much does that actually boost us? 10%. You see, I'm not too worried about that because A, it costs 3,000 science to do. Although, like I said, with all the productivity, that's only about 1,100, 1,000 or so. But still, it costs 1,000 science. So that's 1 trip of rockets to get rocket part productivity bonus. So I don't think it's going to be worth going for that piece of research, for example. And legendary quality, again, we will be doing that, but not until after the 40-hour mark. So, I mean, obviously I have to unlock all the tech for one of the achievements, but my plan for now is to figure out what I need to get 40 hours and done. Now, obviously, we're going to need rail guns if we want to get out to Prometheum sides. Now, it's interesting that it doesn't actually put rail guns as a mandatory requirement here, because it basically suggests that there's another way of dealing with the huge asteroids. But honestly, railgun is just the best option, so I'm going to go for that. So yeah, from Aquilo, the only thing I really care about is Prometheum science pack, cryogenic science packs, and railguns, which will require quantum processors, and then obviously this piece of research itself, which allows us to finish the game. So that's it. 1, 2, 3, 4, and add those prerequisites to get here. So I will take a note of that in my notes. That's not my notes, that's my notes. So on Aquilo, all I want is Prometheum science. I think that's how you spell it. Railgun. And that's it. So actually what I'm going to do is switch this out to railgun first and then research Prometheum science. Yeah. So when I'm planning the research tree for Aquilo, I can click on this and I can go, okay, so I need this, 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 and this, and I can plug those into the research queue straight away. So that's nice. And then I need to go back in here. Actually, no, stay on this. Obviously, we need to do all of the other things to get to the Prometheum with an I, not an E. Okay. Yeah. So we need to do those prerequisites to get to here, but that's again not an issue once I've got railgun. And then actually, I think after that, I want to get 2 levels at least of railgun science, railgun damage. So I'll go for railgun damage after that, with whatever we got left over. Again, it's interesting that railgun damage doesn't actually take the cryogenic science packs to make, so that's interesting. I'm not too worried about railgun shooting speed. The 2 railguns I've got on there should hopefully be enough. If I need more, I guess I will rewind and make more, but I think we should be alright. That's not going to be what kills the run, let's put it that way. I don't think. Last famous words. Anyway, so that's Aquilo. Now I'm going backwards, so I want to look at Fulgora next. What do I want from Fulgora? What do I want? What do I need? Well, let's start with what I need. What I need is everything that gets me to Aquilo, and that's it. Honestly, we don't need anything else. Is there anything on here that I desperately want in order to, or can get away with researching, actually, in order to increase the chances of completing the game within 40 hours? Honestly, I don't think any of this will help. I mean, the mech armor might clean things up, but it's 5,000 science, which I could be spending on, you know, researching. Well, none of that really takes a lot of science. So that's the point, right? The actual tree, the actual tech tree to get to the end of the game is far less expensive than all the nice things to have on the side. So I think definitely skip mech armor. And all of these extra bonuses. We only start researching that once we've done the required route. So yeah, ultimately, the Fulgora science tree is literally just research up to Aquilo. Okay, so on Fulgora, I'll put that in front. Fulgora, apparently I can't spell. Just research straight to Aquilo. And then I'm going to add a note here to remember to productivity on holmium and boost as much as possible, because we need holmium to actually complete Aquilo itself. But yeah, so basically get all of the essentials up and running and then move on. That's it. Nice. The next planet that I want to look at is Gleba, because that'll be the one I do after Vulcanus, and before Fulgora, of course. So let's see, what do we want from here? Obviously we want heating tower, but that'll happen anyway, because actually to get the heating tower unlocked we just need to mine a piece of copper, stromatolite. So, you know, that'll be straightforward enough. Plus having heating towers on Gleba is anyway really beneficial for organization and keeping things neat and tidy, so definitely be doing that. Artificial soil we'll want anyway. We need to get that before we can get the science packs unlocked, so that's all good. All of this happens automatically anyway. All of this research happens automatically, so actually when we get to Gleba, the only thing I need to worry about is everything after this pack. Oops. No, I can go from here, it's fine. It's actually cleaner. Do I want epic quality from Gleba? I think I'm gonna skip it. Look, it costs 5,000 science. So, you know, we could spend that on other things, like, for example, the stack inserter, which admittedly is a bit of a side trek. I don't know if we need these extra capacities. They're nice, but again, they're nice to have. So I don't think we need to spend 5,000 science on the extra capacity. Just having one extra layer on the belts gives us double the throughput straight away if we use stack inserters. Having double the throughput is already pretty insane. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with that. If I've got time to spare, I will upgrade these. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna put stack inserter in for Gleba. So stack inserter. I haven't decided where in the chain I'm gonna actually research the stack inserter yet. But that's all right. Definitely gonna need carbon fiber to get to Aquilo anyway. You can see if I hover over Aquilo, it actually highlights carbon fiber, so that'll get researched no matter what. But we need rocket turrets. So I need to research up to rocket turrets. And I might do... well, I can't do advanced asteroid processing until I've got utility and production science, but I've got to remember that that's an option once I've done Gleba. So yeah, I'll put rocket turrets on the list. And I will put asteroid advanced. Might go in there. And then I actually want to get to Biolab, which will unlock the biter egg handling. So I want to do Biolab first if possible. That will require utility and production or productivity science packs, the purple and yellow. So I'll put Biolab at the front of all of this, because basically what that does is it straight away reduces the cost of this one to about 750 science packs from 2,000. So that's nice. Yeah. And all the other bonuses we get from that. I mean, look at this. That would go down to about 300 science, and these would cost less as well. This one, yeah, ultimately it's just good to have. I mean, it saves so much resources. But I think that's all. I think that's all. We don't do any of the other fancy stuff. Rocket fuel productivity, again, that's a 10% boost, isn't it? Across the board, yeah. Can come in handy, for sure. But things like that I'll put in, actually, yeah, I'll put rocket fuel? I'll put that in brackets as an aside if we've got the tech available, the science packs available to research stuff like that. Rocket part productivity, that includes rocket fuel, so that's insane actually. So yeah, I could put that in here. Actually, that railgun damage should be ×2. Then I'll put rocket part, can't spell, part prod in brackets. So those are like extras on the side if I've got production available to do. I'll want to research a few levels into that anyway before I finish the entire run, because all achievements is a long way down the road. But yeah, that's that one. Back to Gleba, honestly. It's so sidetracked in this game. No matter what you do, there's always something else to distract you. Okay. Tool belt equipment grids, stuff like that. I mean, that's not going to cost us anything in terms of research once we've got the biolab. So it depends. If I feel restricted for space, I'll quickly buzz that through the labs. But yeah, otherwise we'll be alright. Spidertron, I'm going to skip because we've got robots, so we don't need Spidertron, and I don't think we will need Spidertron. It's just a fun little thing to play with. So again, once the 40-hour mark has been reached, I can branch off and do all the extra things, like getting a legendary fish, which we will need to do at some point. So yeah. Ooh, my throat is struggling today. Okay. That leaves, I think that's it. Let me just double check. Got a bit sidetracked there, so I just want to make sure. Biolab, rocket turret, stack inserter, Aquilo, basically. Yeah, that's fine. On Vulcanus, obviously up to the metallurgic science pack, actually. I'm going to put, because I've put Prometheum science on Aquilo, the railgun actually needs Prometheum science, so that will go there. Oops, other side of that. Gleba. Just, yeah, okay, so when we get to Fulgora, we just research the Aquilo tree and boost productivity, yeah. And then here we do agri-science. I'm just going to shorten it to that. Into Biolab, stack inserter, and rocket turrets in that order. Stack inserter first before rocket turrets. I think rocket turrets first because they're more important to get to Aquilo. Although we won't be doing the Aquilo run immediately, so maybe even advanced asteroid processing. Okay, I need to go back to the Gleba tree for a moment. I think actually advanced asteroid processing before any of this, because we can just put down the infrastructure to get these operational as soon as the tech is researched and leave. I think advanced asteroid processing is definitely the first one I go for. Well, yeah. Yeah, because I need to get that to get here anyway. So, Biolab into advanced asteroid processing. And then... Oh, missed a bit. Okay, put a hyphen there, grab that. Sorry about the admin. While I figure out what I'm doing. Yeah. No, Biolab first. Definitely always Biolab first. It's just the right choice in almost every scenario. I was even considering going to Gleba first as opposed to Vulcanus, but I really wanted the artillery to deal with the biters. Although it might not be that important. I don't know. It might be better to go to Gleba first. I still have to decide on that. Well, let's see what we get from Vulcanus, and then decide. So, in order to get to Planetary Discovery Aquilo, all we need to do is asteroid processing. Sorry, asteroid reprocessing. That's it. And we by the way, we get foundries and big mining drills on the way there. And that's the same for Fulgora. So we get the electromagnetic plant and the recycling plant on the way to the science pack anyway, so that's cool. Yeah, and then Vulcanus, in order to get to Aquilo, I should not have clicked on that, should I? But the Vulcanus tree essentially boils down to getting this asteroid reprocessing up and running. So I guess I just queue up that in the tree as soon as I can and call it quits, unless there's something else I want from Vulcanus. Having coal liquefaction is always good. They both cost 500 each, so those two together would be one trip on a rocket of metallurgic science packs, because you could fit 1000 science packs in, so 500 and 500 is one trip. And then obviously artillery is another trip and a half. And cliff explosives. I'm not gonna do turbo transport belts until way late, because I actually managed to finish the game with just using red belts on all my ships and everywhere. And that's just a resource drain that's waiting to cause me slowdown issues. So yeah, I'm gonna skip all of that extra stuff on the right here. But I definitely think coal liquefaction and asteroid processing at the least, and then artillery to deal with the biter issue that we are going to have on Novice. Either way around, I think coal liquefaction will be required because it gives us a half decent recipe for dealing with oil on Vulcanus. It's definitely between coal liquefaction and asteroid reprocessing. Well, those two first, in any case, and then artillery. As an aside, yeah, I'm gonna definitely research artillery and then cliff explosives with the extra 500 science that we get from that. So that's 3 rockets worth of metallurgic science packs. Because that's 500, 1000, 1500 plus another 1500, so that's 3000, and it's 1000 per rocket. So that's 3 rockets worth of coal liquefaction, and then I have to remember to send myself up in a rocket, so 4 rockets worth of stuff to be picked up from Vulcanus. And then I actually want foundries and drills as well, so yeah, I've got a plan for about 4 rocket launchers on Vulcanus. But yeah, anyway, that's not what this video is about. I will deal with exactly what I'm going to do on each planet, I think individually, in a separate video for each one. So yeah, we'll see. It might be a bit overkill to spend half an hour planning each planet out. It might not. It might prove completely worthwhile, so we'll see. So getting coal liquefaction up and running straight out the gate is gonna help us get liquefaction. It's gonna help us get Vulcanus up and running sooner, which is gonna help us launch more rockets sooner, which is gonna help us do all the other stuff pretty quickly. So that'll be nice. Obviously, I can bring in some supplies from Novice to launch a few rockets with. But yeah, I've got to make sure that I've got the ability to produce everything I need to keep Vulcanus alive while I'm busy working on Gleba and Fulgora, and of course Aquilo. Okay, so there's that. Asteroid reprocessing is a science that we cannot skip out on if we want to win the game, so I'm gonna have to do that. And then, do I do cliff first or artillery first? I think I'm going to go cliff first. And then artillery. And if it turns out, that we need the artillery sooner, I can just switch those around. So actually I'm going to put an arrow that way or that way. I can switch those two out. Yeah. So that's the plan for Vulcanus, and then obviously the most complex planet of them all, Novice.